Welcome to the Banjo Cave. I've been hard at work. I will tell something to everyone if you hadn't figured it out by now. Mac Pros are heavy. They weigh about 40 pounds. So I carried I'm referring to it as the new Mac Pro, the one with the intact case, down 2 flights of stairs. So that's now properly set up here in the Banjo Cave, and everything is set up and working well. There are a couple of odds and ends that I have yet to complete with it, but it's virtually done. What I'd like to do now is maybe take a quick jump into the Catalina desktop, because there is something I do want to demonstrate there. All right, so stay tuned. Take a look at About This Mac to see what that is. Let's make sure everyone can see it well. Yeah, the processor upgrade is still there. How nice. If we look at the memory, 96 gigabytes of 1333 megahertz DDR3. Yes, it was in fact the RAM that I put in. I put in RAM that was just clocked at 1060, 1066, and even though I had one DIMM of 1333 for each processor, it all clocked down to 1066. I feel much better now. I swapped out the RAM, and much better. And lest we forget, the 96 gigabytes, technically the system can hold 128. And I tried that. I did some testing with that, and you can go back and look at the videos. It was on the other Mac Pro. It is really true, and this is what my understanding has been, that due to the triple channel memory, you're going to get better performance if you have 3 DIMMs for each processor rather than filling them all up. Well, there you go. So we've got quite a bit there. You can see that's exactly what we've done. We've got 3 slots full for each of the 2 processors, and then the last one, slots 4 and 8 as they are numbered, are empty. This display, I've downsized the resolution a little bit from that, but yes, this is a 27-inch Samsung display. Storage is all the same. Back into the overview and the system report. We're still a Mac Pro, aren't we? How nice. Okay. Bluetooth is all still working exactly right. AirDrop is functioning. One thing I can't do is to AirDrop from this Mac Pro up 2 flights of stairs to my other Mac Pro. So that first little video that I took, and then this one, what I've done is to AirDrop it to my phone, and then once I've worked my way back upstairs, we will see it. I will AirDrop it onto the other Mac Pro in order to process the video. Wi-Fi still working, and there is no dongle still for the Bluetooth, by the way. Yep, everything is still there. This is all good. All right. We can zoom back to where we were. Now, I don't think that there's anything else I really need to tell you from the desktop view. So we're going to jump onto the camera and take a little bit of a look at how things are set up here in the Banjo Cave. All right, so stay tuned. Well, here's a quick shot to let us know why the Banjo Cave is called the Banjo Cave. Of course, Yes, there is a guitar. I don't play the guitar very well at all, but I'm trying to learn. And a stick bass plus a standard electric bass. These instruments I can actually play. I used to play double bass quite well, and before the fire, I had a double bass that I certainly used. This was what I went. Maybe one of these days I will have another one. Okay, we can look quickly around. We call the Banjo Cave. I'm not much of a keyboard player, but it is awfully handy to have it available. But of course, we are here primarily because of the Mac Pro. There's a USB cord hanging across the front of it there. I'll try to tuck that away so it doesn't do that. And of course, I have transferred the OWC Elite Pro Dual, which is there performing its backup function. We come up. Here's the desktop. That is the Samsung 27-inch 4K monitor. There's a little sound bar underneath it, which is handy just to provide sound. Ordinarily, you can see the headphones over there. That's what I use, and then a Scarlett 2 and 2 to the linchpin of the recording studio, microphones, etc. The RAM that I just took out of there in order to replace it. Keyboard, mouse, trackpad. I'm quite a new user to the trackpad. I had a Mac Mini that I had purchased to upgrade and then flip. And the seller just included a bunch of stuff. One of the things he included was this trackpad. I'd never really used one. I didn't think I was going to like it very much. But, as I have used it, it is nice. It's not going to completely replace my use of the mouse, but there it is. And I think that's good. Now, the one thing that is lacking on this desk, that'll be coming in next week, an HRO 7-port USB 3.1 hub, just to make it easier to plug things in, and having that 7 ports is nice. I've got one on the other Mac Pro. That's probably the one bit of equipment as far as hardware that the machine should have in order to be an equivalent setup to my original bent leg Mac Pro. So that's how we're set up here in the Banjo Cave, and we've had a look at that. We're going to take you around some of the rest of the house here, and you'll get a look at where some of the other computers are. Stay tuned. All right, we are one flight up. This is the main living floor. It's where we have, it's all an open floor plan, living room, dining room, and kitchen all connected. And here in what actually is the dining room is my late 2015 27-inch iMac. And of course the printer. I don't print all that often, but this is a handy place. It's equidistant here, and of course it's networked around the house. It's a Lexmark laser printer. So I had a relatively inexpensive HP DeskJet, which, okay, hey, I figured, why spend a lot of money on a printer? I don't print that often. Well, of course, the ink dries out almost every time that I use it, and I've got to go out and buy more ink. Very wasteful. LaserJets don't do that. Okay. And Here we see the iMac in all of its 27-inch 5K glory. It is an incredible screen. It's a quad-core, 3.3 gigahertz quad-core i5. I'd say, yeah, wouldn't it have been nice to have an i7? But this has been absolutely fine for my needs, really. Yeah, I've been very, very happy with it. It used to be down in the Banjo Cave. I've moved it up here. It may actually be a little bit big for this spot, since I kind of have to be right on top of it here. But the computer will actually get more use here than it really was down in the Banjo Cave. I think, yeah, during the year. I mean, I would use it quite a bit because I'd be down there quite a bit, but still. I don't know if there's anything else I need to. Yes, I did upgrade this. I got it, of course, with 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is what it came with stock. Very, very, very easy to upgrade. So it currently has 32 gigabytes, which at the time I had been quite sure was the maximum RAM. Actually, as it turns out, it will address 64. Will I upgrade to that? Probably at some point. I very may will. It has a 2 terabyte Fusion drive, which has been fine. It actually responds very, very quickly. I've been very happy with that. Now, the day may come here where I decide to become really brave and open this thing up to upgrade to all SSD storage and the other myriad things you can do once you're inside there. It's a pain with this year, or these models, the newer iMacs, because in order to get this incredible thinness that Apple seems to treasure so much, the display is glued on to the body of the computer. So you've got, it can be removed, it can be reattached. I've seen a ton of videos on how to do that. As I say, maybe I'll get daring at some point, but certainly for right now, I am very happy with this machine and what it has done for me. Well, here we are in the guest room, which was the place where I first set my first Mac Pro up. I did it here because I figured I would actually have room in here. There is more room than a lot of the other places in the house. Then I moved it to where it lives now in the bedroom, which we'll be seeing in just a minute. All right, now this computer here currently. This is a 2009 iMac. I bought this instrument in very early 2010. I keep doing that. Musician on the brain here. I bought this computer in very early 2010 when it was still the current model, and gave it to my mother-in-law. She had been using an old Dell, still running Windows 98 and stuck on Windows 98, and I kept that machine running for her as long as humanly possible, and it just finally reached the point where it was no longer humanly possible. So on her death, sadly, last year, I ended up reacquiring this iMac. And I set it up originally in that place where my 27-inch late 2015 iMac is currently. And it was fine. I mean, I check email on it. If I wanted to go look something up quickly, I could do that. Light web search every now and again. But it only had 4 gig of RAM. It was just painfully slow. Yeah, it would beach ball you like crazy. So doing some research, I discovered that it actually would accept as much as 16 gig. So I certainly did that. It made a big difference. I also learned you could remove the optical drive and replace it with an SSD, and that I in fact did. So currently there is a 1 terabyte SSD that is the boot drive. I left the 500 gigabyte hard drive in there, figuring it wasn't hurting anything. It's extra storage, although with a 1 terabyte SSD on this machine, there's no real need for extra storage. It's got your standard small keyboard, mouse, both wired. That works fine. So I did those two upgrades, and I also learned, the wonders of the DasDude 1 patcher. That this machine, I first upgraded it to Mojave, and then eventually brought it up to Catalina, where it is sitting right now. And it runs very, very well. There's very little about it that I would say, there's a problem. Dark mode certainly works, but the night shift is a bit problematic. The old application Night Owl that so many of us used in Mojave to get it to switch from light mode to dark mode in the evening still works fine, and in fact is running right now. Now this machine, as I pointed out, I did upgrade, and it was very easy to upgrade because here the display, the glass at any rate, is held on by magnets. So you can, from the use of suction cups, pull the display off, not the display, pull the glass covering the display off, and then unscrew the display. You have to be careful doing that because of the connections, but it's certainly very doable, and that in fact I did when I was upgrading to the SSD. All right, now the cost for that. Now you look at this, it pretty much, it's a 21-inch iMac. It looks pretty much like a modern iMac. What's the big difference? This then is the price you pay for comparatively easy access. It is just so much thicker. Now, Apple, I would ask, why is that a problem? You look at it here, you don't even notice it. This could easily be a modern iMac. Well, the wonders of Apple. All right, one more stop, and we'll see the machines in the master bedroom, and then maybe some final thoughts. Okay? Oh, and I am remiss. I neglected to say anything about my MacBook Pro. And one thing in the specs on the 2009 iMac, of course, as with a machine that age, it is a 3.0 gigahertz Core 2 Duo. That's always going to limit it. All right, this is a 2015 MacBook Pro, which so many people treasure as the greatest MacBook Pro. I don't know about that. This is a 13-inch. I rarely use it. With all these computers around the house, why bother to boot up the laptop? But of course, when I travel, I do use it, and it has been a very, very valuable companion. It's not highly spec'd. It's a 2.7 gigahertz dual core i5. It's got 8 gig of RAM. And of course that's soldered on, so there's nothing you can do about the RAM. Now, yeah, looking back on it, I wish I had spec'd it up a little bit more, but I didn't. At the time, this was just after the fire that destroyed my home. I needed a computer. I went to the Apple store and I bought the computer that they had, which is this machine. It came standard with 256 gigs of SSD storage, which of course fills up remarkably quickly in today's world. So the one upgrade that I was able to do and do pretty easily was in fact change to a 1 terabyte SSD, and it really isn't difficult to do at all. So that's certainly a very worthwhile thing. Uh, I would say if you're looking for one of these machines on the used market, just try to find it with as much RAM in it as you possibly can. 8 is fine in today's world. What 8 gig is going to be like 5 years from now? Will it be like 4 gig now? A little hard to say. Okay. And here we are in the master bedroom. Before you hear, this is the Mac Mini station. Currently powering the monitor there is the 2012 6,2 Mac Mini, about which I did a video not too long ago when I upgraded that machine. It does dual boot, Mojave and Catalina. I decided to boot it into Mojave. There are a couple of 32-bit apps that I still use, not all that often, but I kind of have to keep Mojave around if only for that. And I always like the OS, to tell you the truth. All right, and the other side of the KVM switch is a 2018 Mac Mini. Maybe more about that one in an upcoming video. All right, now coming over here to the other side of the room, the old El Capitan desktop. And yes, that is the 2006 1,1 Mac Pro. Since I moved the other 5,1 down to the Banjo Cave, I figured, what the heck, let's boot this up and do a couple of things with it. There will be a fairly short video about this machine upcoming. All right, that monitor came with another Mac Pro. And it's actually a pretty decent Dell monitor. No HDMI, but what the heck. All right, and now the reason why the majority of you are here. Let's get that stuff out of view. Okay, so we have a clean desktop to look at. All right, we've seen this before, of course. This is my original Mac Pro. You can see that bent leg down there. A couple items underneath my computer toolkit is sort of tucked in underneath there, and the magnetized project pad, just so that, yeah, me being the way I am, I could easily just put it away somewhere. Then, oh, I can't find it, I'm doing something, well, it'll be fine, and that's when I'll lose screws again. Okay, and of course the OWC enclosure for backup there. This desk has been pretty nice. Obviously, keyboard tray is always a nice thing there, but that little extra shelf, which I guess was intended for a mouse, but it's not very big for that. But boy, it fits that Magic Trackpad 1 really well. Okay, and that kind of incredible. Oh, look, another banjo. That kind of incredible 32-inch Samsung display, which is really great. Webcam on top, because of course there's no camera built into these, and microphone off at the side for doing these videos. And this is the home of this Mac Pro. And I think we can pretty much declare that, oh yeah, one thing I did intend to see, you can see that Atero 7-port USB hub in there. It is very handy, much easier than trying to reach down to one of those cards, so I can just quickly plug something in and then unplug it, and that's where that Initech card became most valuable. I was able to use that and still power the hub and get USB 3, maybe even 3.1 speeds. Quite an amazing thing. All right, now let's maybe make some use out of that really nice Logitech webcam, and I'll give you some final thoughts on all of this. Well, I promised some final thoughts. Obviously, the project is pretty much complete at this point. So, I guess an end to the daily videos. Kind of too bad. I have really enjoyed making these, and of course, the whole project, working on these machines, has been an absolute gas. I have enjoyed it so very, very much. And I appreciate that some of you have in fact been looking and following along with it and enjoying it with me. All right, now, recommendations. Oh, by the way, I should say they're not going to be the kind of daily video updates that you have become accustomed to. I do intend to make some more videos. There will actually be some music videos coming up, believe me. But there'll be computer videos too. Now, in fact, the Mac Pro that's been the centerpiece of this particular project here, which is the one that's now downstairs. I first featured in a video called "It's Intact." Because it is. The case is in incredibly good shape. These things do tend to get damaged in shipping very, very easily. I'm reminded though when I opened up that video in the intro to it, I showed something. The seller, which is a computer store in Canada, actually in Calgary, obviously didn't have a box that would fit the machine. So they cobbled something together, a couple of different boxes and just mounds of tape pulling it together. They actually did a very, very good job packaging the machine so that it arrived safely, and I'm very grateful to them for that. But yeah, the box was a little funny because on the top of that box, when I brought it in, there was a sign that must have been there from whatever was in the box from which they constructed this box. And the sign is doesn't exactly fill you with happy feelings that the computer you just bought on eBay and just had delivered is in a box with a sign saying broken electronics. It occurred to me, I don't think I'll ever do it because I'm not sure that there are going to be enough videos coming up after this, but if I did continue doing them, maybe I should spin the computer videos off into a separate channel. And if I were going to do that, which I doubt that I am, but if I were going to, I'd probably just call it Broken Electronics for the heck of it. Now, should you out there do this same kind of upgrade to one of these machines? And the answer depends. I happen to love computers. I happen to love working on computers. I love taking them apart, seeing what's in them. I love the process of doing upgrades, and on these machines it's very easy to do, and it's been very satisfying to do that. The result has been two very, very, very powerful computers. Do I really need those computers? I have a use for them. You know, the all the video editing that I've been doing lately, and I'm sure I will continue to do, the music editing that I really need to get myself back to, can both benefit from machines of this kind of power. If you have a need for a very powerful machine like that, but not the kind of budget, as very few of us would have, to actually buy the 2019 edition of the Mac Pro, it's like a marvelous one. Maybe 10 years down the road I'll get one. And we'll have much the same kind of thing going on. But yeah, this is going to do me fine. Now, what are the concerns about it? Well, the fact that it is now officially out of support. The last operating system that it ran natively was Mojave. Mine are running Catalina now because of the DOS Dude 1 patcher. There have been no issues with that whatsoever. I mean, I cannot tell any difference between this machine or the one down in the Banjo Cave running Catalina and my late 2015 iMac running Catalina natively. Yeah, might as well be fine, because I don't think there is anything about these machines that in and of themselves would not let them run Catalina just fine. Apple doesn't want them to. Probably because they have just come out with a new Mac Pro. Oh well. These machines are going to remain very, very capable machines for quite a number of years. I hope, first of all, that Colin Mister, known as DOS Dude 1, is going to be able to keep doing these incredible patchers, which have been so wonderful for those of us who do love and want to continue to use our older Macs. And with the 5.1 Mac Pros in particular, I hope they are supported with current operating systems by the patchers for many, many years. I think they should be. And I am looking forward to another good 10 years out of this. The machines will be then 20 years old. Compared to computers at that time, will they be as powerful? Well, no, they won't, but they'll still be capable machines. So yeah, it's worth it if you like the process of tinkering with electronics. I recommend it heartily. So that's that, and I would like to thank everyone who has taken the time to look at these videos, even if it's just a couple, even if it's just for a few minutes. Makes me feel good that some other people have gotten some enjoyment from this. This should be up tomorrow, maybe Monday. I have another video on the 1.1 that probably will hit public availability on Tuesday, and we'll see where we go from there. I've got a couple of Mac Mini projects that I was going to do. They've gone on a back burner for now. I really should get back to doing those and finish that up. And I've got a couple of other things in mind that may be fun. So until then, take care. Treat other people well. Spread the love. And feel good.